Good morning, children. Welcome back to your English class. Today, I'm going to start a new story, your English course book, lesson number 4, Hachiko. Okay, what is the name of the lesson? Hachiko. So, open your textbooks to page number 47. Let's begin the lesson with a starter exercise. You're going to read about a loyal dog, a Japanese Akita dog called Hachiko. That is, in this lesson, we are going to learn about a dog. It's an Japanese Akita dog called Hachiko. What is the name of the dog? It is Hachiko. Like an Akita dog, there are other dogs people love to keep them as pets. So, let's do a starter exercise. Can you see here? Here are the pictures of few such dogs. Do you know their names? Well, use the names in the box to fill in the blanks appropriately. So can you see there is a blue box over here, and in this blue box there are certain names of the dogs. We have to look at the picture and pick up the correct breed of the dog and write in the blank. Okay, the different breeds of dogs are given. Identify them and write the names of the dogs. Is that clear? Okay. Now I'm going to start a new story called Hachiko. This is a story about a Japanese dog. Okay. This is a breed of a dog found in Japan, that is Akita. This story is about Akita dog named Hachiko. That is, the breed is Akita and the name of the dog is Hachiko. And we will learn how the dog was loyal towards its master. Is that clear? Now students, this is a Japanese story. So while I am reading the story, try to concentrate on the pronunciation and even the spellings. Certain terms are in Japanese pronunciation. So listen carefully and try to repeat along with me. Is that clear? Now let's start the lesson. Hachiko. Page number 48. Read the story and answer the questions that follow. It was a late December morning. Few people were making their way to the Shibuya train station through the icy wind. I was helping my grandmother set up the newspaper stall for the day. As I was laying out colorful magazines on a stand outside the stall, a golden brown animal whizzed past me. What do you mean by the word whizzed? WHIZZED, whizzed. Whizzed means moved very quickly. It's a wolf! I screamed and dashed behind the magazine stand. No, Ray-chan, he's just an Akita puppy, said Dr. Ueno, rushing down the pavement to calm me. Now, what do you mean by the word whizzed? Whizzed means to move very quickly. Now, there's another word called chan. Chan means what is it? A Japanese word of affection used after children's name. Now, the next word is Akita. Akita, what is it? A breed of dog originally found in Japan. Okay, next. Konnichiwa, Dr. Ueno greeted my grandmother as she stepped out of the newspaper stall and reached out to hold my hand comfortingly. Konnichiwa. What is this konnichiwa? It is a Japanese greeting. How are you, Mrs. Daisuke? Dr. Ueno said, bowing respectfully. Ray-chan, I hope you had a good holiday in your village, he said, turning to me. I nodded, still crouching. Now, what is this word crouching? Crouching means bending one's knees and putting one's body close to the ground, usually in fear. I'm sorry Hachiko scared you. Come meet him. Dr. Ueno smiled encouragingly. Next page, page number 49. Dr. Ueno was a professor at the Tokyo Imperial University. He often bought magazines from us. My grandmother had known him for years. I realized he had got himself a pet dog when I was away on my school holidays to visit my parents. Good morning, Dr. Ueno, I said as I walked up to him slowly. I bent forward and carefully extended my fist to Hachiko in friendship. He licked it quickly and wagged his tail back and forth till his whole body shook. We laughed to see him so happy. See you soon, said Dr. Ueno as he waved to the three of us and entered the station. He shut the train station's door behind him to keep the cold draught out. As each of the passengers walked in and out of the station, they carefully shut the door behind them to keep away the cold. Hachiko looked on longingly towards the door for some time and then turned to walk home. I followed Hachiko from a safe distance. When he ran into Dr. Ueno's garden, I waved to him to say goodbye and rushed to my school. In the evening, I returned to our stall to help my grandmother pack the unsold magazines and newspapers. I saw Hachiko waiting near our stall, looking eagerly at the door to the Shibuya station. I petted him. He gobbled the little piece of surume with him. He wagged his tail and whimpered joyfully. Now, what do you mean by the word surume? S-U-R-U-M-E. Surume is a dry squid, that is seafood. And what is whimpered? Whimpered means made a low crying noise. Now let's go on to the next page, page number 49. He rolled over and allowed me to rub his belly. Through his play, however, Hachiko often paused to look at the station's door. With his small eyes, erect ears and large curled tail held over his body, he would stand in attention to check if Dr. Ueno was back. When Dr. Ueno walked out of the door waving to Hachiko, he yelped and shook with joy to see the professor. As soon as Dr. Ueno stepped onto the pavement, he jumped up, placing his forepaws on the professor's thighs. Dr. Ueno hugged his pet eagerly as he nodded to me. He spoke loving words to Hachiko as they made their way home. Little did I know that I was going to see this lovely reunion every day for many, many months. Hachiko came every day to see off and receive Dr. Ueno. I had developed a deep friendship with Hachiko. In fact, many regular passengers at the Shibuya station were friends with Hachiko. They admired the dog's love for Dr. Ueno. The evening of 21st May 1925, however, was different. Hachiko somehow was not interested in our usual games. When the time for Dr. Ueno's return got closer, Hachiko stood up alertly, staring at the door. The door opened and shut several times that evening as people walked in and out of the station. But Dr. Ueno did not walk out. I knelt beside Hachiko, hugging him as he waited together. A light drizzle started as it began to get dark. Now there's a word over here, alertly, Alertly. What do you mean by this word, alertly? Alertly means with great awareness. And there's another word called drizzle. Drizzle means light rain. Richan, it's time to go home, said my grandmother, lowering the shutters of our newspaper stall. But Sobo, Sobo. What do you mean by the word sober? Sobo means grandmother. But Sobo, Dr. Ueno, is not back from his work yet, I said worriedly as I let my arm sink into Hachiko's warm coat. He's probably held up with work, Richard, she said as she shivered a little in the late evening breeze and rain. I could not let my old grandmother walk alone the long distance to our home. As she walked home, we hoped Dr. Ueno would return soon. I thought of Hachiko's eager face often that night. Next day in the morning, I found Hachiko sitting where I had left him the previous night. Sobo, looks like Hachiko hasn't gone home at all, I told my grandmother and ran ahead to hug Hachiko. He wagged his tail weakly. His coat was wet. His pleading eyes looked from me to the station door. Sobo poured out some warm milk from her flask and offered it to Hachiko. He licked it gracefully. Now let's go on to the next page, that is page number 51. Thank you, Mrs. Daisuke, said an eagerly man as he walked up to us from where he had been waiting. I'm Mr. Kobayashi, Dr. Ueno's gardener. The professor has often spoken to me about you and your lovely granddaughter. I'm sorry to say Dr. Ueno passed away suddenly at work yesterday. Sobo and I were shocked to hear this news. I've been trying to take Hachiko home since midnight, he said softly. We helped Mr. Kobayashi take Hachiko home. But in the evening, Hachiko was back, his brown eyes intently fixed at the station's entrance door. He licked my palm and accepted the sirume, but he did not roll over or jump anymore. Through rain or snow, Hachiko always waited at the edge of the pavement near our newspaper stall for Dr. Ueno. He waited every evening till the last train pulled out of the station. Then he would walk away slowly into the night. He waited this way till his last breath almost 10 years later. At the busy Shibuya station, to this day, you can see the bronze statue of Hachiko eagerly waiting for Dr. Ueno. This place near the statue is a happy meeting point for families and friends, just as Hachiko would have liked.